Welcome, everyone, to Prove These Fireflies, Prove These Note Takers, our monthly ritual. Welcome. I know we've got some stuff going on today. There's quite a few people at Zero Trust Zero Trust World. I know there are some other events going on, so thank you for all of you taking the time to join us today on March the 4th. March the 4th be with you. No, that's in a couple months. Um, Give everyone just a second to join in from the waiting room. But as we're getting started, can everyone let us know in the chat where you're calling in from, um, and how you're using hats? Just a classic standard question that we love to ask because we always are like, whoa, I didn't know they were using it for that. It's so cool. So drop your use cases, share the knowledge, share the wealth. Um, Very cool. All right. All right, Rachel, you're going to monitor the waiting room to keep letting people in. We'll go ahead and get started. It is 12:02. Um, Welcome to our partner roundtable, March 2026. Can't believe it's March already. The roundtable means you can interact with everyone. We're building a strong MSP community here, and we want you to be able to share what you're learning, what you're using hats for, share your questions with the group, and hopefully benefit from everyone's involvement. And as our community grows, so do your resources. I want to bring in Jimmy, our co-founder, CEO, a bit early. We usually have him come in at the end and talk, but we really like to get him sharing some wisdom nuggets up front. So, Jimmy, we've gotten a ton of questions over the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, just because of the rapid pace that we're releasing features. I think we had 2 updates last week, we had 2 the week before, just constantly pushing out new features, which is unusual for a lot of vendors in the community. So, can you just talk through your methodology, right? How you lead the team to push features out so quickly, why we do that, the vision that you have for the platform, and just how we're able to crank out so many features and ship so much in such a short time.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is really great engineers doing great work. But no, I mean, with AI, things just change so fast. They change so fast. I mean, like new models come out, new capabilities come out, new things come out, like all the time. We get, I think, about 100 feature requests, votes every couple days, or new asks and things like that. We get, tons of feature requests through support tickets, through sales meetings, et cetera, et cetera. So, we're doing a lot of feedback at scale, whether that be people to people, or through, the actual hard data on like who's voting on things and that kind of stuff. But a lot of it is like making bets on where things are going to go in the future. Um, like the How people use AI has shifted tremendously over the past 12 months. And I don't think like 12 months ago people would necessarily think that people would use AI the way that they do today, whatever. Synthesizing the data on like where we go is a big part of it, but we are AI first in sort of everything we do. So when we design features, we actually have our designers start with a mock-up of things from the start. So within the first day they have a clickable sort of working prototype, and then we actually go straight to engineers and get AI. We get feedback from the engineering team and do a research pass on a clickable prototype within the first day, and then do like high fidelity designs, which would be like Figma designs or things like that. So typically, companies will wait like 3 weeks to a month before getting the first version of a Figma design, and then do a pass on feedback back and forth, where we do all of the feedback passes back and forth. before the design, so it goes like straight to the engineers very quickly. We also like have invested a lot of time in our engineering org on being able to test things quickly and do a lot of QA, whether it be AI assisted QA or human assisted. But our development pipeline, we've gotten a lot faster over the past couple weeks and months because we've made so many investments there. So like we're actually at a point internally where we can build a feature and test 40 different sort of like user flows with AI within like 20 minutes. And then have humans sort of go in and actually manually test and review for security after the fact. So our biggest bottleneck still is and will continue to be, human review, human security review, all of that. Security checks is a big part of it, obviously. But I think like in short, not to get into super specifics or go very technical with it, it's just continuously leveling up what we can do with AI internally and setting up our company in a way where we can make decisions really quick and ship fast in a safe and secure way.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. I think it's important for people to hear, right, about how and why, because we push so much stuff out every week, and it's just I think sometimes it catches people by surprise, just the pace, and so it's cool to hear the rationale behind it and lift the curtain a little bit to see how it gets done. So thank you. All right, um, we're gonna keep moving, and I do have a quick poll. We do this every week. If everyone can take just a couple seconds um, to answer this as we keep moving. Let me just launch this. March Roundtable. All right. So I'll leave that up for a bit. If you can just take a few seconds to answer that. And I think I think we're down to Kelsey this week. She was at Zero Trust World. So I don't think we have a Kelsey's Corner, but if you do happen to be calling in from Orlando at Zero Trust World, go visit the Hatz booth. Go say hi to Kelsey. Go take some pictures with the Hatz team. There's who do we have down there? Dave, Dylan. There's a whole crew. So go visit them if you're down there. A couple notes on education and adoption. We have consistently been revamping the content in these training courses. The platform, Jimmy said, things move so quickly. So some of the demos, some of the use cases, some of the how-to videos, those are constantly getting refreshed and updated. So if you haven't completed the Navigator and the Champion certification, go check those out in the learning portal on Hatz. It's just in the top right corner. And if you've completed those or you just want to do a quick, 2 or 3 minute video about a certain feature that you're curious about, head over to Quick AI Skills. That gets new content added almost every week. So check those out. You'll never be done with the Quick AI Skills. Every time you log in, there'll be something new to check out. Um, And then our YouTube channel, not everything makes it into the learning portal. Some content just goes onto YouTube, especially things like the roundtables. If you miss a roundtable or you have to drop early, the roundtable recaps get posted there, as do Feature Fridays. Ali does a great job going through all of the new features that we ship every week and talks through those, demos them, explains how to even explain them to your clients every Friday. We also have industry use cases, some thought leadership, and new feature demos on YouTube. If you want to stay up to date, of course, you can sign up for our Canny board, where you can see the roadmap. You can see the feature requests and comment and upvote those. You can also just sign up to get the updates emailed to you when that happens. But we also curate a new feature update announcement. It's a little bit it's formatted a bit differently. It's got demo videos, it links our documentation articles, and it even puts use cases for the new features. So if you want to get that sent to you instead or in addition to the Canny board, you're more than welcome to sign up for that. Um, and if you need more Hats time, plenty of Hats time that you can sign up for. We have Feature Fridays, like I mentioned, every Friday at 11. Ali does, like, I can't say enough good things about how Ali walks through the new features. It's bigger and better in 2026. If you haven't come to any of these, we've got a bit of a different format, a different setup for it. It is open invite. Anyone is able to come to those. And we also started including a use case highlight. So last week was the Hoffman special. Mike Hoffman showed off a cool use case that he uses about 10 times a day, and people were loving it. So you'll see a new use case every week that you can start using today. Use case support. We have use case workshops every Tuesday. You are you are able to come to those with a specific use case in mind, something that you're looking to get some support on. Love having conversations with all of our partners about how they're trying to use the platform. Sometimes you just need a bit of guidance structuring a workflow, structuring an agent, and that's what these are for. We are, before it was recommended, we are now like requiring the Navigator cert just because it makes the conversation so much easier to have if you know what a workflow and what an agent are, and we don't have to start at the basics there. Um, I'm gonna stop sharing for just 1 second as I switch gears. Um, do we have? All right, we're gonna switch to our go-to-market. I see some chatter about the lab. We're gonna talk about the lab at the end. We're gonna switch gears to JP. JP, do you want me to
I,
share my screen, or would you like to share
I'll
yours?
share here. Everybody wants to hear about the lab, Mark. Like it's exciting. You want to leave it at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Leave it to the end. We're uh, very fortunate as we are every time we think about it, like to work with some great MSPs. We're also in the fortunate position we get to expand our team and work with some great folks. I want to maybe call out some new joiners to Hats today, and I think it's very important to recognize some people that are joining and being part of your team, particularly the customer facing folks. Joe, are you here?
Hey, JP, yes.
Joe, how are you? Joe, quick,
Fantastic.
just to let people know maybe a little bit about you, where you're from, where you living, and what's the last few days been like?
Yeah, happy to. I'm Joe Francina. I'm based out of Stamford, Connecticut here, and I'm about 2 weeks into the role, although it feels like I've been here for 6 months. It's been great getting to meet brand new partners and helping them and their end customers adopt AI.
Great. Well, thanks. And Bob might be on a call. Bob Abrams, are you there?
I am
Yeah.
here. Yes,
Yeah.
thanks
There
very
you
much,
are.
JP. Yeah, so Bob Abrams, based down here in South Florida, and new to the Hats team. I'm Joe minus about 3 days, so I think I'm on day 8 about now. An unbelievable ride so far. Look forward to working with all of the partners. My background has been in technology most of my working life. Cybersecurity run right before this, and thrilled to be part of the Hats team and working with all of you to energize your AI business.
Bob, if you were to compare how much you used AI 2 weeks ago to today, what's it like?
Oh my goodness. I don't know how many percent increase it would be, but it has absolutely become part of my daily life, getting, especially coming in new to a lot of the accounts that JP and the team had been working with. So my daily run in the morning, right in my inbox is my day ahead with pulling in from all the different sources, Fireflies, Salesforce, and then giving me a recap of what's been done, what needs to be done, and then the objectives for the call. And that's in my inbox every morning, constantly using it. It's just integrated now as part of my workflow. The key part was the on-ramping, amazing on-ramping to get you up and running and learn as you go and actually immediately apply it to the day-to-day.
Well, look, it's great to hear Bob and Joe, and we're very fortunate. And we talked about the AI experience team a couple of weeks ago, and Dan Vaz is on the call, I'm sure, here. And I'm just going to get the opportunity to welcome another member of Dan's team, Michael Garrity. Like we didn't have enough Michaels, Garrity, I hear is Garrity on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks. Uh, hey everyone, Michael Garrity here. As JP was just mentioning, we got a bunch of mics here, so everyone just refers me to Garrity. Feel free to do the same if we're in any conversations. There'll probably be another mic on the call anyways. Um, Yeah, really new to the team, but been in the MSP space probably 10, 15 years now, mostly in backup. So historically, Datto and Commvault. And then I was also at CyberQP working in privileged access management. So a lot of experience in the space. Happy to be on the team and working with all you guys out there.
Mike, you might get away that handy uh, for the moment. I'm going to maybe keep going here. I'm going to maybe ask you a couple of questions in a second because you're focused on a project that we're I'm just about to maybe touch on it in a second. So maybe good to have your thoughts. And like these forums are really great to share, from our perspective, like what we're seeing, right? And Jimmy might pop on as well here. The last couple of weeks, I'd say it was about 6 weeks ago, there was a big aha moment that we definitely want to share. And maybe this is not new to you, right? But AI is definitely not like any traditional software, right? Like it's when you think about traditional software and email, for example, it behaves predictably, and you buy email today and or backup in March, it's broadly the same product it's going to be next March. AI is different. The capabilities are improving every month. There's new models, new integrations, new workflows, automations. Matt Hamilton is going to go through roadmap in a second, and he'll touch on even the changes that are going to come in a couple of weeks. So the value of AI definitely increases over time, um, and and I think that's like begin it allows us to think a little bit differently about it, and as an MSP to think a bit differently about how you should approach it. And one of the biggest mistakes we see that's possible from an MSP perspective, and the only really big mistake we could make right now is that if we, if you think you sign a couple of AI customers this year is going to be a good outcome, well, it might be missing the bigger opportunity, which is activating your entire customer base early, even if that's like a small starting price. Because think about it, right? Your customers are probably willing to spend a couple of dollars per user if you make that up. Let's call it $5 per user on AI today. Because it's going to continuously get better and people are going to use it more, that uh, price is going to increase. Some say it's going to get 10 or 20x by September to the end of the year. So think about that. If you get somebody started now with a couple of dollars, that's just going to naturally increase. You don't need to, uh, spend any more time. Sorry, Jimmy. Oh my goodness, I flicked right through. Um, there we are. Got to see everything. So that's the biggest mistake we can probably, uh, make today. And there's a window open now where customers need that help. And once they get started, there's going to be better models, and people will, you know, uh, begin using it more and more. But if your customers start their AI journey with you now, all future usage naturally flows through you. So over the next 9 to 12 months, that usage is going to grow dramatically as people experiment and learn and integrate it into day to day. So the spend today does not need to be big. It just needs to be started. So as I look at this, it might say, "Oh my goodness, there's a lot going on here." But you hear the analogy, skate to where the puck is going. The opportunity for MSPs is not where AI is today. So if you think about this graphic here, and look, it's directionally accurate. Picture, this representing a customer of yours and their employees. There's just some people not using AI, or if they are, they're maybe using some free AI tools. Perhaps that green might be a little bit bigger. They're using it. It's shadow AI. There's a smaller proportion that might be using managed AI or paid versions, and then there's frankly a very small proportion that might be doing automations and agents. Some MSP employees like live here because you're living AI, you're living technology, but the broad base of our customers really are not doing a lot today. But that shift is going to happen in 9 to 12 months and very, very quickly. So MSPs, that win will be the ones that will activate their customers early, get them on the platform. And that's why we're working closely with MSP partners now. And Mike, you're focused on this, where if you think about what your next step is as an MSP, it's to capture that initial recurring revenue. So the speed to activation is very important. We have some projects, and Mike is Garrity is very, very focused on this, and Dan and the team, where we can turn it on for all your customers in a program that helps them adopt it very quickly, and then also helps you build capacity around AI. So we've been doing this quite a while now, and we do it at an incremental level with some MSPs. But if you want to think about speed of light, movement, and just activating all your customers and just get them up and running on a program, definitely suggest reaching out to um, some of your account management team. You just met some folks. If you don't know who your account manager is, that's okay. You can just reach out directly to me if you like, and I'll loop you in, jp@hatz.ai. But I just want to share that, I guess, and probably put in your mind's eye around like that ability to move quick. We have the team stood up now to help MSPs move very, very quick and basically turn it on for all your customers. There is uh, a queue forming around that at the moment, and we're have activated a few in March, and we're probably going to capacity in April very soon. So if you're interested in learning more, reach out directly, and we can uh, get you going. But on that note, Jimmy, anything before any comments on that?
Well, I just think things are moving like way faster than people know or are ready for. And like it's just some opportunity. It's just some opportunity. Like you think like how much are people spending on AI right now, and will they spend more a year from now? Will they spend more 2 years from now? Will they spend more 3 years from now? And it reminds me a lot of cyber 10 years ago, but it's happening a lot faster, way faster. So,
Yeah. Okay, hang on. With that, speaking of moving fast, uh, I won't share my screen because Matt Hamilton will share his screen. And speaking of moving fast and speed of light, Matt, over to you. He's either got a deadly stare at me or his screen is frozen. There he is. Matt, how are you?
Hello, sorry, temporary internet issue, but it is fixed.
No problem.
Alrighty, let's get started here. Lots of amazing updates to talk about. So the last 30 days have been blazing fast. We have shipped so many amazing things across the board. I really want to thank a lot of folks for reaching out with any issues they've seen or improvements they want to see. We have a lot to cover here. I'm going to touch upon a few things, but really we shipped a lot this month. A few things I wanted to call out before I go deeper on a couple features was a lot of new LLMs, and that continues to be the case. I think OpenAI may have shipped a new model yesterday or today as well that we're need to add. So we're adding them as quickly as we can. Additionally, we've upgraded our API in a couple places that might be useful to certain folks. One thing that's super interesting is the ability to at least play around with using Hatz in a code base or a coding agent. So, for example, one called Open Code, you can actually connect Hatz with. So I was playing around with that. That was pretty cool. But let's dive in. So first and foremost, I want to highlight agents. It's something where we've wanted to upgrade a bunch of different features over the past few months, and we've been able to deliver them. So Number one is just being able to have a new custom agent greeting message. So a lot of these upgrades are focused on helping people build agents for different purposes and also making sure they touch upon use cases that increase the number of use cases for agents. So a lot of folks have mentioned wanting to share agents with not a lot of context. So we have to add that context to the beginning of an agent. And as you can see there, we actually also have things that will help you. So we now have a build assistant. Well, I'll get to that in a second. But as you can see there, help me write instructions, suggest improvements, add tone and personality. So what we've seen is there's certain agents that people have created that are decent, but actually performance can be improved a lot by upgrading the instructions and improving just the prompts that we're giving to the agents so they can better field and ultimately serve their purpose. So I'll talk about that build assistant in a second. But first, a couple other things. So one thing is agents that are using tools. It was previously not super clear that you needed to connect a tool for an agent. So this makes it a lot easier to share an agent and for the agent to help the user using the agent actually get to a good place with it, understand they need to connect some tool to be able to actually use the agent effectively. So that's a big upgrade. And then the build assistant. So now on the right side in the workshop agent editor, you're able to much better have an assistant that actually helps you build an agent that's going to fulfill its purpose in some ways. So that can really help you improve the instructions and also add some tone and personality, which can be overlooked. Sometimes actually adding a little personality to your agent can really help people who are using it really have a much better experience. I like to add a little flair to agents sometimes. That will really help people empathize, I would say, with the agent a little bit more versus having it just give you the answers. So here you can name it. As you can see here, you can have a custom greeting and things like that. And the build assistant can then take a look at what you've created. Once you actually select something like improve instructions, you can easily take a look at the instructions it suggests and click apply, and it will actually add those to your or replace your instructions with that better prompting. So super helpful for improving agents and just in terms of your workflow for actually building an agent and testing it. You can continue to modify that or chat more with the build assistant as you're building the agent out. So super helpful for you to kind of iterate on things and get it to a good place before you actually decide to publish it. Here, just showing a couple things around there. It's pretty quick. It very much behaves similarly to how it would in a chat. So the other thing I wanted to mention was personalization. So personalization we came out with, I think a couple weeks ago at this point. You can certainly, at this point, select for the agent to ignore the user level personalization. I know there's some agents that are built in a very specific way, and they're expected to have a specific output. I wouldn't turn this off for every single agent. There's certain agents where the user's personalization actually helps them because they personally want it to behave a certain way or have a certain tone or interact with them. But there's certain agents where it makes sense just to turn this off. So now you can do that within an agent. So lots of huge upgrades to agents in this past month. We're going to continue improving agents over the coming weeks. So definitely if you have more feedback on agents, it's welcome. I want to talk a little bit about personalization at this point. So a couple of weeks ago, we added personalization. I'm sure you've seen the pop-up when you log in. But this really allows you to customize Hatz across the board in a way that might be better for you to interact with. Some people prefer super detailed responses. Some people prefer just give me the answer in a concise way. You can also change tones and emoji usage, which I know is a hot button topic, and even add custom instructions. Those custom instructions can really run the spectrum in terms of what you might add there. You can ask it to better explain itself. Like it says here, ask clarifying questions before giving detailed answers. Or even something like, hey, don't be so bubbly. I certainly get really annoyed when Hatz or the LLM essentially can be a little too optimistic with its answers. And sometimes I have to say, well, you're actually wrong about that. So I've given it custom instructions to second guess itself and not be so overly confident. And that can help as well. Other people like to make it talk like a pirate, which is also fantastic. I know Mark is a big fan of that one. Another thing just to mention here is that the other piece around personalization is your name, your job description, and time zone. A lot of people have asked for time zone to be applied. This is, just one of many ways to personalize, but certainly helps when you are asking it questions about timing. So that shipped with personalization as well. A lot of people have asked us, what does this affect? Where does it affect with chat workflows, agents, phone agents? Well, here are the answers. Like I mentioned, for agents, it's customizable on the agent's config. For workflows, personalization is not applied. Chat, of course, personalization is applied. And the other piece here, which I didn't mention here, it's actually not in this screenshot, but you can also turn off personalization if you don't really want to customize, Hatz or the LLM and just use the off-the-shelf style and tone and instructions. That's totally cool as well. So while these things do apply in some instances, they also can be turned off across the board per user. I want to talk next about connections page. So we've kind of rebranded the integrations tab as connections. The logic behind that is there's a lot of different ways to connect Hatz to other things, some of which are going to be launched in the future. And so now kind of rebranding it as connections includes integrations, but may include other connections in the future as well. Also has some handy functionality like being able to sort and filter, which is super useful as we get more integrations and connections and things like that. So this is the page itself, helps you really easily manage your integrations. We even show off some popular Hatz integrations, which can be helpful for new users to see and give people ideas. But ultimately, we wanted to clean up this page, make it a lot more useful for managing integrations now that we have a good number of them, and really build a foundation for the future. We also launched a bunch of new integrations. If you haven't checked these out and they might be useful to you, please check them out, connect them, give us feedback on it. It's been super useful to get feedback. A couple I want to call out here, N8N and Zapier, they really, take our functionality to the moon. Zapier especially has over 10,000 integrations you can use right off the shelf. And with a little bit of extra setup, you can really connect Hatz to almost anything. And so that really opens up the use cases for Hatz for customers. And so, it may not be a direct integration, but certainly something that opens things up in a way that, we've just never seen before on Hatz. A few other things, if you like vector databases, Pinecone is a vector database. If you want to throw some things in there and play around with it, you certainly can. There's some cool, I would say, advanced use cases for that type of database, but it's one that we've shipped and are constantly testing and checking out, and has some really interesting use cases. So definitely check those out, and we plan on launching more integrations in the future. One other thing I want to talk about here is time-based workflow triggers or scheduled workflows. This is super convenient. If you have a workflow that generates a report or does research, it's super easy to put this on a schedule. And so now we have a really easy to use feature that allows you to just put in, hey, I want this to run every day, every week, something like that. We also have advanced cron expression support as well if you want to get super granular, like I want it to run on the 15th of every month. But either way, this is super, super powerful. So might even open up some new possibilities for workflows that you didn't want to run manually, but now you can set to a schedule and we'll run on that schedule. Oh, sorry, one sec. There we go. So lastly, what's next? So I did want to give a little bit of a preview. This screenshot on the right may not be exactly perfect in terms of exactly every single feature. However, memory is a really big one. So after personalization, we are going to be shipping memory so that Hatz can remember facts about you. You can manage that, see what Hatz remembers about you. And so across new conversations, Hatz is just going to be much more personalized to you beyond personalization. That is a massive feature. There's a lot more we want to do there, but this is the very beginning. We've also heard you loud and clear around files. There's a lot we've been doing under the hood to improve that, both with file limits for everyday chats, as well as options for larger file bases. We even heard someone say they have a customer with, I think it was a terabyte of data. I don't know if we'll be able to ship that from day one, but we're definitely looking into how we can support larger file bases for use in chat, workflows, agents, etc. So it's definitely something we're thinking about and working on in the next month. And then lastly, lots more connections. One request we've gotten around MCP connections. So a lot of people have been looking for first-class integrations. We're going to be launching a feature that allows you to connect a remote MCP server if we don't support it officially. It's going to be something that we open up so that if we don't necessarily roll it out officially, you still can connect it to Hatz and try it out yourself. So really opening up the functionality even beyond what we can officially roll out. But not to worry, we're also going to be rolling out more official integrations as well. So lots to look forward to in March. All right. That was a lot to get through, but I want to hand it off next to Mark, who is finally going to talk about the Hatz Lab.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And I know there are some questions in the chat, I think, about some of the things that you teased. So the Hatz Lab is something that I am personally really excited about. I'm excited about everything that Matt just said. I'm excited about everything we've talked about all day. This is something that I'm proud of. I'm proud of the team for putting this together. Um, if you've seen us teasing the Hats Lab on LinkedIn and at Future Fridays, and maybe we've shared a sneak preview link with a few of you. It is. Let me share my screen here. It is now open. What does that mean? Well, today at 2 o'clock, Rachel, if you can go ahead and drop the link in there, thank you. Today at 2 o'clock, we're inviting everyone to join us for the first tour of the Hats Lab. What we're doing is really going back to basics for use case ideation and prompt engineering. This is not meant to replace any of the training, any of the onboarding, the education that we have in the platform, or on YouTube or anywhere else. What it's meant to do is be open to anyone, MSPs, your clients, people who are just curious about hats, to come in and see how, first of all, the chat works, right? Well, we're going to do some chat use cases. So how to get value out of the platform on day one, the prompts to use. You'll literally walk away with the prompts that you can use in the chat. We're going to go through the anatomy of AI use cases specific to hats. So how to think about inputs, what they are, where they live, outputs, what do you need AI to do for you, and then kind of back into what the role of AI needs to be. And that'll help you decide whether you need a chat, a workshop, a workflow, or an agent. And then we're going to move into actually building from scratch, from use case ideation to prompt engineering, 2 workflows and 1 agent. The idea being you can have one screen, you can have one tab open with the Hats Lab going and one tab open with your Hats account and build along with us. We're going to start this out with general purpose, broad use cases, so things that pretty much any business could benefit from. You might go more specific over time, but at the end of it, anyone who comes is going to walk away with 6 use cases. The way we thought about them, the way we ideated them, and the prompts to build them. You'll actually build them in your own Hats account. You can take that, so you're going to build muscle memory. You're going to build that competency around using the Hatz platform. And you can take that and apply that to your own use cases. So if you're an MSP, awesome. Come to the Hatz lab, get refreshed, see all the new, we're going to incorporate all the new features, everything that keeps coming out. This is going to happen Wednesdays at 2 p.m. You can also send your clients to the Hatz lab. It's a part of our onboarding. It's a part of the resources and the support that we want to provide to make it as easy as possible for you to get people started with Hatz. So what we're trying to do with the Hatz lab is get that day one value as great as possible. People get in the platform, love it, know exactly how to use it, and they can build along with us every week. So go sign up. I know it's short notice today, but you can sign up for the next, I think, 15 that we have scheduled. If you can come to those, share the link. It's just hats.ai/hats lab. Rachel shared it. You can grab that, share it with your clients, share it with anyone. I do see a question. Will it be recorded and posted on YouTube? Yes. We're not going to record every single one because it's not going to be a brand new set of 6 use cases every single time. We're going to, keep some of them the same and refresh and cycle in and out. Hey, in the future, we might do the Hatz Lab like legal edition, Hatz Lab manufacturing edition. We're gonna build as we go. So we'll post the ones that are new and fresh, but we're also gonna clip them, right? So you're gonna see the clips. So you'll have like a YouTube short or a little thing in the new feature alert where it's, hey, here's how we built the marketing materials use case. So it will be recorded this time. Won't be recorded every time. And lastly, just speaking of marketing materials, I do want to put Rachel on the spot for for 30 seconds or so. She's done a tremendous amount of work on a lot of the requests that we got over the last month for marketing materials. So, Rachel, if you have a link for that, and you want to just talk about some of the things we have in Docs and that Lark can help with.
Yeah, for sure. So as Mark very nicely teed me up, we have been, and I think when Matt was going through the last 30 days and what we've shipped, I think that is also everything we've shipped quite literally since I've started. I'm pretty sure today is my 30th day. So as I've been here and really like going through all of the materials we have and everything that we want to provide for you, my goal has been to consolidate really as much as possible and make it easy for you all to find resources. So I will share in the chat here marketing materials for a very simple go-to guide on resources that you can use to market Hatz, whether it's our pitch deck, whether it's our one pagers. You can pretty much find everything in here. The old MSP resources doc still exists, but it's a little bit more built out and expands on how to use these materials and when it's appropriate, whether you're talking about internal adoption, whether you're talking about end customer adoption. So really excited to continue to build this out. And if there's any materials, I've definitely spoken to some people on this call already about what would be helpful. But if, as you're getting out there and as you look at what we have, if there are any materials that you'd like to see or that you would find would help either internal or customer adoption, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I can share my email as well, or reach out to your account exec and we can set up some time. Really want to make sure that we're providing you with the resources that would be helpful and will help you sell hats because it's a great product. So might as well get people on it. Might as well market it as well as we can.
Thank you, Rachel. Covered a lot today. I know we might be ending a bit early. We covered a lot with go-to-market, a lot of the support and resources there. Tons of new features, shipping stuff every week. Hatz Lab is open. Hope to see you all there. Jimmy, Ali, JP, Dan, Matt, anyone else? Any final words?
I can just tease everybody should come to Feature Friday this Friday, even though you run here and even if you go to Hatz Lab, there's some really fun stuff we're going to go over on Feature Friday. So definitely be sure to join this week.
Ali, is that because we're releasing even more stuff tomorrow?
Even more stuff. a full 45 minutes to an hour of me talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, just a quick question in the chat about the who can come to the lab. It is open to anyone and everyone. Anyone and everyone. Prospects, your mom, your sister, your dog. I don't care. Get them in the lab. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate this. This will be on YouTube later today, and we'll do some follow-up emails. And yeah, thanks for coming. We'll see you all on Friday.
Everyone.